Good morning to you all. My name is Chaher and I am associated with the Oblates Retreat and Spirituality Centre in Tower Hill, London. There I lead once a week a workshop called Expressing Myself Through Art, where we combine art and prayer in a light-hearted way through various forms of creativity and reflection. For today's reflection, I chose a reading from the Gospel of Matthew. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Contemplating this message with faith and love, we slowly emerge out of the material world and into the divine one. We also become aware of how faith can transform us through truthfulness, kindness, acceptance, and responsibility. Now the question is, how could there be a visual expression of divinity? Based on today's reading, I had a vision of depicting the Lord of such majesty, yet of such humanity, that we are able to understand the mystery of His being. As you know, reflecting and praying with art not only helps us to praise the divine, but also to bring us strongly into Him. It is almost like an initiation of the bliss into which we are drawn as we contemplate. Although Christ is risen, yet He is still one of us. Today we celebrate the aspect of His humanity and His willingness to live our life to the full, despite the physical helplessness of its start. So I started painting with a thrill and pure desire to capture those qualities. But soon there was a moment of crisis. I was faced with inexplicable concerns for today's adversities. I was taken to a different plane that rendered this work infeasible and causing a creative stagnation in expression. Perhaps I was too ambitious, I thought. Though, after reflecting on an icon of Christ from the 6th century, I felt renewed with energy and inspiration. And as I made more progress on the painting, I found in this image the assurance that He can understand us. In a way, His presence and gaze are enough to draw our hearts so strongly that we can understand. Now, often our perception can miss out on the fact that prayers made through art, such as icons, can be readily answered. So after finishing the painting, I had to reflect for some time to convey the message behind today's theme. This radiant image of Christ gave me a powerful sense of prayerfulness. So did His longing hands, reaching out in love. I saw His presence holding us steadfast amidst all the unimaginable pain and distress that we often experience. This is a scene captured in darkness. As you know, back then there was no electricity. So I envisaged Him holding a candle in His left hand, thus keeping the light aflame in our hearts, and the right one raised in blessing. This is the Palestinian Jesus, humble and modestly dressed. He is deeply aware of the human frailty, with an expression of intensity and invitation that He is in need of our cooperation. I pictured His eyes large and open, looking directly into the soul of the viewer, and His mouth closed in the silence of contemplation. I hope this image will speak to your heart in some way or another, and perhaps it may reflect the deep import of our continuous prayer. May the light of Christ be present in every moment of your life, thus giving you strength, trust, and courage, now and always.